Assalamu alaikum, Muslim friends, once upon a time, the night had come. The twinkling stars in the clear sky became a charm that was so precious, bearing witness to the glory of a human being. At that time, it coincided with the 27th Rojab 11 prophethood, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam rested. Sleeping sideways beside Hajir Ismail near Baytullah, on his right and left, are two young men, Sayyidina Hamza and Sayyidina Ja'far bin Abi Tholib. Suddenly, at that place, he was visited by the angels Gabriel and Michael. Apart from the two angels, there is one more, namely Angel Israfil. Then the three angels carried Prophet Muhammad to the Zamzam well, and Prophet Muhammad was laid there. As for those in charge, it is the Archangel Jibril. In another history, it is explained that suddenly the roof of my house was opened, then the angel Gabriel entered, and after that Jibril operated on the chest of the Prophet Muhammad, starting from under the neck to below the stomach. Angel Gabriel then said to Angel Michael, "Take a golden bowl filled with Zamzam water. I want to purify the heart and inner heart of the Prophet Muhammad." After that, Angel Gabriel took out Prophet Muhammad's heart 3 times, and get rid of all the dirt that is in Prophet's mind. The angel Michael was walking back and forth carrying 3 gold bowls that contained Zamzam water in them, starting from the bottom of the neck to the bottom of the stomach. Angel Gabriel then said to Angel Michael, "Take a golden bowl filled with Zamzam water. I want to purify the heart and inner heart of the Prophet Muhammad." After that, Angel Gabriel took out Prophet Muhammad's heart 3 times, and get rid of all the dirt that is in Prophet's mind. The angel Michael was walking back and forth carrying 3 gold bowls that contained Zamzam water in them, starting from the bottom of the neck to the bottom of the stomach. Angel Gabriel then said to Angel Michael, "Take a golden bowl filled with Zamzam water. I want to purify the heart and inner heart of the Prophet Muhammad." After that, Angel Gabriel took out Prophet Muhammad's heart 3 times, and get rid of all the dirt that is in Prophet's mind. The angel Michael was walking back and forth carrying 3 gold bowls that contained Zamzam water in them. After doing all these things, he brought a golden bowl filled with wisdom and faith. Then the contents of the bowl were poured into Prophet's heart until his heart was filled with the qualities of being patient, pious, confident, and Islamic. Then returned to normal, and given the title of prophethood by the 2 angels. Furthermore, Prophet Muhammad was provided with a Buraq vehicle, complete with saddle and controls. Buraq is a kind of animal with white fur, taller than Himar and shorter than Bighal. Once he stepped his feet as far as the eye could see, his ears were always twitching. When going up the mountain, the 2 hind legs are elongated, and when going down the mountain, the 2 front legs are elongated. The Buraq has a pair of wings on its 2 shoulders. The 2 wings function to help its running speed. Buraq pranced, showing his strength. Then Jibril put his hands right on Buraq's head, and said, "Aren't you ashamed, O Buraq? For the sake of Allah. The person who wants to ride you is the most noble person in front of Allah." Then Buraq blushed so that his sweat was pouring down like raindrops, and he was calm. Until Prophet climbed on his back. Buraq had actually been ridden by prophets before Prophet Muhammad. Sa'id bin Musayyab explained that, furthermore, the Prophet Muhammad departed accompanied by the angel Gabriel on the right and the angel Michael on the left, according to Ibn Sa'id's statement. Gabriel is holding his seat, Michael is holding the reins. After that, he continued his journey until he reached the date palm garden. Jibril said to Prophet, "I invite Prophet to come down, and please be prepared to pray in this place." Then Prophet came down and performed the Sunnah prayer for 2 cycles. Then departed again, and Jibril asked Prophet, "Do you understand, O King of the Apostles, where did the King of the Apostles pray earlier?" Prophet replied, "I do not know." Then Jibril said, "Your Majesty was praying at Tayyibah, Medina. That's where the King of the Apostles will emigrate later." Not long after, Buraq departed again with a very fast speed. As soon as he stepped his feet, as far as the eye could see like a flash of lightning, he had reached his destination. Jibril said to Prophet, I invite Prophet to come down, and please be prepared to pray at this place." Then Prophet got down and did 2 cycles of sunnah prayers. "Where did your Majesty pray earlier?" "I do not know," the Prophet replied. Then Jibril said, "Your Majesty was praying in Medina near Sahara Musa, the tree where Prophet Musa took shelter when he left Egypt, because he was being chased by King Pharaoh. Then Prophet Muhammad departed again. Barak ran fast and stopped again." Jibril also said, "I invite Prophet to come down, and be prepared to pray in this place." Then Prophet came down and performed the sunnah prayer of 2 cycles. Then off again. Then Prophet came down and performed the sunnah prayer of 2 cycles. Then Prophet came down and performed the sunnah prayer of 2 cycles. Then Prophet came down and performed the sunnah prayer of 2 cycles. Then off again. Prophet answered, "I don't know," Jibril said. "Your Majesty was praying on Thursina hill, the place of Munajatnia of the Prophet Musa and the place where the Prophet Musa had an audience with Allah." Then Prophet continued his journey back until he arrived at the ground where you could see the buildings of the state of Siam standing firmly. Jibril said, "I invite Prophet to come down and be prepared to pray in this place." Then Prophet came down and performed the sunnah prayer of 2 cycles. Then off again. Barak ran fast, ran like grabbing. Then Jibril asked Prophet Muhammad, "Do you understand, O King of the Apostles, where did you pray?" Prophet answered, "I don't know," Jibril said. "Your Majesty was praying in Bethlehem, the land where Prophet Isa was born, and in the middle of the trip, when Prophet was still on Barak's back, suddenly Prophet Muhammad jinn Ifrit, an evil genie, Yang rushed to follow Prophet carrying a torch. Every time Prophet looked back, jinn Ifrit was still there. Furthermore, Gabriel said, 'Do you want the apostle to teach you the sentences that if you read those sentences, the torch will certainly go out and Ifrit will fall down?' The Prophet replied, 'Please,' and Jibril finally said, 'My Majesty, I invite you to read. I take refuge in Allah, the most honorable, and the perfect sentences of Allah, which cannot be violated by righteous and evil people, as well as from the evil reinforcements that descend from the sky and the dangers of evil that ascend to the sky, from the evil creatures that creep on earth, and from the evil animals that come out of the earth, such as snakes, scorpions, and so on, as well as from the dangers of slander and temptation during the night and day, from disasters that come suddenly during the day and night, unless something comes who brings mercy health, O most merciful essence." And finally jinn Ifrit fell down. Then Prophet continued his journey back until he arrived at a people who were cultivating crops at that time. But strangely, the plants that have just been planted can be harvested immediately. Each time it is harvested, the plant immediately returns to its original state. Prophet asked the angel Gabriel, "What is the meaning of all that?" Jibril replied, "All of that is an example of the people of the Prophet who fought jihad to fight fisabilillah. One good deed will be multiplied by up to 700 good deeds. And for example, people who like to spend their property, energy, and thoughts to spread the religion of Islam, all of that is in exchange for Allah." Next, Prophet smelled a very pleasant fragrance. Prophet asked, "Gabriel, what is this fragrance?" Jibril replied, "This is the fragrance of Mrs. Masjito, a woman who worked as a comb for King Pharaoh and his daughters. Once, Masjito was combing the hair of King Pharaoh's daughter. Suddenly her comb fell. Masjito's mother spontaneously said on her lips, 'In the name of Allah, the most merciful and merciful, woe to the Pharaoh.' Pharaoh's daughter heard the words. He was surprised and asked, 'Do you have a god besides my father?' Masjito replied, 'Yes.' Princess Pharaoh asked again, 'Dare you? I will report to my father for what you just said.' Masjito replied, 'Please.' Then the daughter of King Pharaoh reported all the words Masjito had said to King Pharaoh. Then Pharaoh summoned Masjito to face him and asked, 'Do you have a god other than me?' Sidi Masjito has 2 sons and a husband. After that, King Pharaoh summoned him before him with the intention of persuading and influencing Masjito and her husband to leave their religion. But Masjito and her husband still did not want to apostatize, reject. Pharaoh then said, "Then, I will really sentence you both to death." Sidi Masjito replied, "Please. I only ask for the best from His Majesty the King. If we are all killed, I hope that they will be put in the same place and buried in the same grave." Pharaoh replied, "This is your right. I will carry it out." King Pharaoh then gave orders to immediately prepare a big pan, a very large copper frying pan, and fill it with olive oil and heat it until it boils. Furthermore, King Pharaoh ordered Masjito and his sons and daughters to be immediately put into the frying pan. Not long after, they were all put in one by one until the child was still a baby and only 8 months old. At that time, Sidi Masjito's heart had doubts about her faith faltering. Then the baby, who was still sucking, said, "O my mother, be willing, mother, to immediately dive. Don't go back and forth, because actually the mother holds to a truth." Then Masjito and her children were put into the boiling frying pan. The hadith Perawi said, "There are 4 babies who have been able to speak since they were in the cradle. 1. The baby sits with Masjito. 2. The baby who was the witness of the Prophet Yusuf. 3. The baby who was the witness of Jirai. 4. The baby of the Prophet Isa bin Maryam." Then Prophet continued his journey back. On his next trip, he met a group of people who hit themselves on the head with a sledgehammer until his head was split. Not long after, the head was intact as before. Then the people started beating him again and again without stopping. Prophet asked, "Gabriel, who are these people?" Jibril replied, "They are a picture of people who are heavy and lazy in doing fardu prayers." After that, Prophet continued his journey until he met a group of people who were all half naked, only wearing loincloths, they only covered their private parts, and who were herded like camels and goats. These people eat thorny plants, zakum, bara, and gaping stones from the hell of Jahannam. Prophet asked, "Who are these people?" Jibril replied, "They are an example of some of the people of the Prophet for whom it was time to pay zakat but who were reluctant to do so. Something like that. It is not Allah who suffers him, but the result of his own actions that cause him suffering." Then Prophet continued his journey back. Then he met with a large group of people who were waiting for fresh, cooked meat in the kawali, large cup, and other meat that is still raw and rotten. Surprisingly, these people eat rotten meat and leave the cooked and delicious meat. Prophet said, "Who are they, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "They are an example of men from the followers of the apostles who already have wives who are lawful and good but still commit adultery with other women who are not lawful and bad. Even men, the man slept with her until morning came, and for example, a woman who already has a lawful and good husband but still commits adultery with another bad man." Prophet continued his journey, then met a tree full of thorns crossing in the middle of the road about to tear clothes and hurt the whole body of people who passed by that place. Prophet asked, "What does all this mean, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "All of these are some examples of the people of the apostles who like to stay up late on the side of the road. And in their stay up late, they often make fun of people who want to pass in front of them, while the person who passed earlier wants to do a good and noble deed." Then Jibril read a verse. "And don't stay up all night on the side of the road with the intention of disturbing and annoying those who want to do a good and noble deed." Furthermore, Prophet continued his journey back to meet people swimming in the river of blood who were pelted with stones. Prophet asked, "What does all this mean, O Jibril?" Gabriel replied, "All of that is some examples of people who often eat usury wealth." After that, Prophet departed again to continue his journey. He then met with people who collected firewood and tied the wood in a big bundle. They were not strong enough to carry the logs but instead added more wood. Prophet said, "What does all that, Gabriel, mean?" Jibril replied, "All of these are some examples of the people of the apostles who have accepted many dependents and trusts from their fellowmen. They are no longer able to carry out these dependence and trusts but are still willing to accept and are still looking for dependence and trust again. Such as debts that have not been paid but are already owed again, and debt again. Then Prophet departed again and met a group of people who cut each other's mouths and lips using iron scissors. Each time the mouth is cut, the lips are severed. After that, it returns intact as before and so on. Prophet asked, "Who are they, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "They are experts in slander, they like to slander, and are some examples of the people of the Prophet who are experts in advice. The expert gives lessons to many people, likes to invite goodness and benefit, but he himself never does it. The act of advising him is only oriented towards wealth, thrones, positions, and likes to be glorified." After that, Prophet met a group of people who were clawing at his face and chest with nails made of very sharp copper. Prophet asked, "Who are they, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "They are some examples of people who like to eat human flesh, cannibals, meaning these people are experts at swearing and are happy to spread other people's disgrace and make other people's good names become tarnished." Prophet left to continue his journey back, then found a very small hole, from which a very large cow came out. The cow tried to get into that very small hole again, but couldn't get in. Prophet asked, "What is the meaning of all this, Jibril?" Jibril replied, "All of these are some examples of the followers of the Prophet who spoke wrongly. They had already spoken, while the words that were said earlier were important words. Secret, dangerous, destructive in this world and the hereafter. But in the end they regretted all of what he said earlier. Of course, it's just that those words can't be taken back." In explaining the Isra Miraj, Prophet was suddenly called out by someone from the right. "O Muhammad, be prepared to pause for a moment. I want to ask you something." But Prophet Muhammad did not turn his head and was reluctant to answer the person's call. Prophet asked, "Who is he, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "That is a call from the Jews. Keep that in mind. If the king of the apostles deigned to answer that call, of course the people of the apostles would all become Jews." Then Prophet departed again. Suddenly he was called by someone from the left. "O Muhammad, I ask you to stop for a moment and wait for me. I want to ask you something," but Prophet ignored him. Prophet said, "Who else is Jibril?" Jibril replied, "That is a call that comes from Christians, remember. Of course, the people of His Majesty the Apostle will all become Christians." Then Kanjang Nabi departed again. Suddenly he met a woman whose arms were open. She was wearing beautiful jewelry. She then called out, "O Muhammad, be willing to stop for a moment. I want to ask you about something." But Prophet was reluctant to stop, didn't turn around, and didn't pay any attention to him. Prophet said, "Who is this woman, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "That is the world." If the king of the apostles answered, of course all of the followers of the Prophet would choose the life of this world and refuse to pay attention to the life hereafter. Narrated in a poem. Remember that in fact the world is just a place to stop by for someone. Settled at night, and when morning comes, he will soon leave again. Then Prophet departed to continue his journey back. Suddenly he met an old man on the side of the road. He called out, "O Muhammad, come here for a moment." Jibril said, "Have a step, O Messenger of Allah." Then Prophet asked, "Who is this old man, O Jibril?" Gabriel replied, "He is the enemy of Allah, he is none other than the devil. He tried to tempt His Majesty the Apostle to be willing to follow his actions." Kanjang Nabi swung his leg back. Suddenly, he met an elderly woman. The woman was on the side of the road. She called out to Prophet, "O Muhammad, I beg you to please stop for a moment. I want to ask you," the Prophet said. "Who is he, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "That is a little picture of the natural world which is very old and old. Very close to the Day of Judgment." After that, Prophet continued his journey back until he arrived at Baitul Maqdis, Palestine. He entered through the Al-Yamani gate on the right. Then Prophet came down from the Barak and tied the Barak near the Aqsa Mosque. Where was that place? The place that had previously been used by the prophets to tie the Barak according to one history. The angel Gabriel approached a very large rock. The stone was then perforated by Jibril, and Barak was finally tied to the rock. Then Prophet entered the Aqsa Mosque through a door that was inclined by the sun and moon when it was just rising. Next, Prophet prayed 2 rakas in congregation with the angel Gabriel. Not long after, the prophets gathered. Prophet saw and paid attention to these prophets. Some of them were still standing, some were bowing, some were prostrate. Then there were those who called the call to prayer and continued with Ichoma. The prophets got up and lined up all in a row. Everyone was waiting for who would lead the congregational prayers at that time. Then Jibril held Prophet's hand and pulled him forward to become a priest. Furthermore, Prophet became the priest of the prophets to pray 2 cycles of prayer. According to the history of Imam Ka'ab, angel Gabriel who recites the call to prayer. Then all the angels came down from the sky in droves. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gathered all the prophets and messengers. Furthermore, Prophet became the prayer leader of all the angels, prophets and apostles. After the greeting, Jibril asked, "O Muhammad, do you know who the people who were praying behind you earlier?" Prophet said. "I don't know," Jibril replied. Everything earlier were the prophets and apostles sent by Allah. Then the prophets and apostles praised Allah with good praises. Then Prophet said, "You guys praise each other to your God, and I will also worship and praise my God." Next Prophet rushed to praise. All praise belongs to Allah, the one who has sent me as a mercy to the whole world and to humans by giving the happiness of heaven to those who are obedient, and frightening with hell for those who disobey. And Allah has sent down the Quran to me in which there are explanations about all things. And He has made my ummah better than all the previous ummah, who was born for other human beings, and Allah has enlarged my chest and heart, forgiven all my sins, and elevated my rank and name. Prophet Ibrahim said, because of the words of Prophet, Prophet is glorified by Allah beyond the glory of all the prophets and apostles. At that time Prophet felt such a terrible thirst. Jibril then came with a glass of wine and a glass of milk. Then Prophet took and chose milk. Jibril said, "The apostle has chosen fitra, the religion of Islam." For example, if the apostle chooses wine, it is certain that many of his followers will be disobedient and no one will obey the apostle, except for a few. According to another tradition, in fact, there were 3 glasses that were served, while the number 3 glass was filled with water. Jibril said, "If the king of the apostles drank water, of course the followers of the king of the apostles would drown in disobedience." In another history, it is also explained that glass number 3 is honey, which is a substitute for water. And in fact, Prophet also saw and paid attention to several angels who were to the left of the big rock. After that, he greeted, and the angels answered his greeting. Then the Prophet asked the angels. The angel answered with a radiant face and made her look happy. Prophet was then provided with a ladder, a tool for the souls of believers to rise. The ladder was incomparably fine and beautiful. One ladder was made of silver, and another was made of gold. The ladder was from the paradise of paradise. The stairs are sprayed with lulu pearls. On the right of the stairs, there is an angel, and on the left, there is also an angel. Then Prophet climbed the stairs together with the angel Gabriel until the 2 of them arrived at a door among several doors to the heavens of the world, which is called Babul Hafada. At the door, there is a guard named Angel Ismail. He was ordered to be the guardian of the heavens of the world, which are located in the sky. Forever, the angel Ismail has never ascended to the sky over him, and he will also never descend to earth, except on the day of His Majesty the Prophet Muhammad's death. The number of Angel Ismail's bodyguards is 70,000 angels. And every single angel is accompanied by 70,000 angels. Furthermore, the angel Gabriel knocks on the door of heaven and asked the angel Gabriel, "Who is it?" Gabriel replied. "I am Jibril," then asked again. "Who are you with?" Jibril replied. "I was with Prophet Muhammad," and asked once again. "Have you been sent by Allah to come here?" Jibril replied. "Yes, done. Only then are you welcome. Please come in. Welcome. I am grateful for the grace from Allah, because I can meet face to face with His Majesty the Apostle and become part of His Majesty the Apostle's family. May Allah be glorified, brethren. Believers and preachers, representative of Allah, who has agreed to convey Allah's religion. That is the best of brothers in the faith, Allah's representatives, and the best of people who come. I am grateful for the grace from Allah, because I can meet face to face with His Majesty the Apostle and become part of His Majesty the Apostle's family. May Allah be glorified, brethren. Believers and preachers, representatives of Allah, who have been pleased to convey Allah's religion. Thus, the best are brothers and sisters in the faith, God's representatives, and the best people who come. I am grateful for the grace from Allah, because I can meet face to face with His Majesty the Apostle and become part of His Majesty the Apostle's family. May Allah be glorified, brethren. Believers and preachers, representatives of Allah, who have been pleased to convey Allah's religion. Thus, the best are brothers and sisters in the faith, God's representatives, and the best people who come. Then the sky's door was immediately opened, when the two entered. Suddenly in that place met the Prophet Adam, namely the father of all mankind. His existence is still the same as when he was created by Allah. His skin remains reddish-white and glowing. His height is approximately 60 gyro, or approximately 29 meters. His chest width is approximately 7 gyro, or approximately 3 meters. The spirits of the prophets and their descendants who believed in Prophet Adam were brought to the Prophet. Then brought again to the Prophet Adam the spirits of his descendants who were both disbelievers. And the Prophet Adam said, "Rotten spirits and rebellious souls, all of you enter the Sitchin hell." And Prophet Adam saw from his right there were black shadows, groups of souls, and doors. And from the door, a very fragrant aroma came out. And from the left, Prophet Adam saw the shadows and the door. From the door came out a very foul and pungent smell. When Prophet Adam turned to the right, he was proud and happy. And when he turned to the left, he was sad and crying. Then Prophet greeted Prophet Adam, and Prophet Adam also answered his greeting. Prophet Adam then said, "Welcome, my righteous son and righteous prophet." Then Prophet asked, "Who is Jibril?" Jibril replied, "He is the ancestor of the king of the apostles, namely the Prophet Adam. As for the black shadows, they are the descendants of the Prophet Adam. Meanwhile, the black groups on the right side are members of heaven, and those on the left side are members of hell." When Prophet Adam looked to the right, he was proud and happy in his heart. And when looking to the left, Prophet Adam wept and grieved. The door to the right is the door to heaven. When the Prophet Adam saw his offspring both enter heaven, his heart was proud and happy. As for the door on the left, it is the door to hell. When the Prophet Adam saw his offspring both going to hell, his heart was crying and sad. Then Prophet Muhammad continued his journey back, which was not far from the place earlier. And he met people who liked to eat usury and orphans' property. He also met people who liked to commit adultery, and so on. Their existence is very sad and deplorable, like the previous phenomenon, and even more sad. Then Prophet Muhammad ascended back to the second sky. Gabriel knocked on the door of heaven and asked permission to enter. The skyguard asked, "Who is that?" Gabriel replied, "I am Gabriel." Then the skyguard asked again, "With whom are you?" Jibril replied, "I was with Prophet Muhammad," and he was asked once again, "Have you been sent by Allah to come here?" Gabriel replied, "Yes." "Done. Only then are you welcome. Please come in. Welcome." Ouch. I think I got a gift from God, because I can meet face to face with His Majesty the Apostle and establish brotherhood. May Allah glorify His Majesty the Apostle and brothers and sisters in the faith and die, representatives of Allah, who have deigned to convey Allah's religion. Then the doors of heaven were immediately opened. When the two of them had entered, suddenly they met Prophet Isa bin Maryam and Prophet Yahya bin Zakaria, who were both almost identical in clothes and hair. His mother Prophet Yahya was still a sister to Sidi Maryam. Both were accompanied by a group of his people. The Prophet Isa was of standard stature, his skin was reddish white, his hair was long, he looked like someone who had just taken a bath, his face was similar to Yarwa bin Masud at-Saqafi. Prophet Muhammad then said greetings to Prophet Isa and Prophet Yahya. Both of them answered the greeting and said, "Welcome, my righteous brother and pious prophet." The two of them also prayed for Prophet Muhammad with good prayers. Then Prophet Muhammad and Malakat Jibril went up to the third heaven. Jibril asked permission to open the door of heaven. The gatekeeper of heaven asked, "Who is that?" Jibril replied, "I am Jibril." Then she asked again, "Who are you with?" Jibril replied, "I was with Prophet Muhammad," and he asked once again, "Have you been sent by God to come here?" Jibril replied, "Yes. Already. Only then was he invited. Please come in. Welcome. Truly, I have received a gift from God because I was able to meet His Majesty the Apostle and establish brotherhood with him. May God glorify the Apostle, brothers and sisters in the faith, and da'is, representatives of Allah, who have been pleased to convey Allah's religion. That is the noblest of brothers in faith, caliphs, and the best of people who come. I am the representative of Allah, who is pleased to convey the religion of Allah. That is the noblest of brothers in faith, caliphs, and the best of people who come. I am the representative of Allah, who is pleased to convey the religion of Allah. That is the noblest of brothers in faith, caliphs, and the best of people who come. Then the doors of heaven were immediately opened. When the two of them had entered, suddenly they both met Prophet Yusuf, who was accompanied by some of his people. Prophet Muhammad greeted Prophet Yusuf. Then the Prophet Yusuf answered the greeting. And Prophet Yusuf said, "Welcome, O my righteous brother and righteous prophet." Prophet Yusuf also prayed for Kanjang Prophet with sublime prayers. Prophet Yusuf's handsomeness equaled half of Prophet Muhammad's handsomeness. According to one history, the Prophet Joseph was awarded a beautiful face beyond the beauty of the faces of all mankind. His face was like the full moon whose bright light exceeded the brightness of all the stars. Prophet asked, "Who is he, O Gabriel?" Then Prophet Muhammad and Malakat Jibril ascended again to the fourth heaven. And Gabriel asked permission to open the door. The skyguard asked, "Who is it?" Gabriel replied, "I am Jibril," then asked again, "With whom are you?" Jibril replied, "I am with Prophet Muhammad," and asked once again, "Have you been sent by Allah to come here?" Jibril replied, "Yes. I have." The skyguard then said, "Please come in. Welcome. May you both be glorified by Allah, glorified by brothers and sisters in the faith and paradise, representatives of Allah, who are pleased to convey Allah's religion." The door of heaven was then opened. After that they both entered. Suddenly Prophet Muhammad and Malakat Jibril met Prophet Idris, who was glorified by Allah in a high and noble place. Prophet greets. And the Prophet Idris answered the greeting. He said, "Welcome, my righteous brother and righteous prophet." Then Prophet Idris prayed for the Prophet Muhammad with noble prayers. Then Prophet Muhammad and Malakat Jibril ascended to the fifth heaven. Jibril then asked permission to open the door. The skyguard asked, "Who is that?" Gabriel replied, "I am Jibril." Then he was asked again, "With whom are you?" Jibril replied, "I am with Prophet Muhammad," and he was asked once again, "Have you been sent by Allah to come to this place?" Jibril replied, "Yes." The skyguard then said, "Please come in. Welcome. May you both be glorified by Allah, glorified by brothers and sisters in the faith, and glorified by paradise, representatives of Allah, who have been pleased to convey Allah's religion." That's the noblest of brothers in faith, caliphs, and the best of people who come. After that, the gates of heaven were opened. Then Prophet Muhammad and Malakat Jibril came in, and suddenly they both met Prophet Harun, whose hair and beard were partly white and partly black. The beard hangs down along the navel because it is very long. The Prophet Harun was surrounded by the children of Israel. At that time, the Prophet Harun told the people. Prophet greeted and answered. Then the Prophet Harun said, "Welcome, O my righteous brother and righteous Prophet." Then the Prophet Harun prayed for Prophet with good prayers. Prophet asked Malakat Jibril, "Who is he, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "He is a man who is very loved by his people. His name is Prophet Harun bin Imran." Then Prophet and Archangel Jibril ascended again to the sixth heaven. Jibril asked permission to open the door of heaven. The gatekeeper of heaven asked, "Who is it?" Gabriel replied, "I am Jibril," then asked again, "With whom are you?" Jibril replied, "I am with Prophet Muhammad," and he was asked once again, "Have you been sent by Allah to come here?" Jibril replied, "Yes. Already." The guard at the gate of heaven then said, "Please come in. Welcome. May you both be glorified by Allah, glorified by brothers who share the same faith and the preachers who have pleased to convey Allah's religion. That is how noble brothers in faith, caliphs, and as good as the people who come. That is how noble brothers in faith, caliphs, and as good as the people who come. Then the door of Allah's religion. That is how noble brothers in faith, Caliph Jibril replied. They are the Prophet Musa and his followers. But I hope the king of the apostles to raise their heads. Suddenly Prophet Muhammad saw a large group of people who filled all directions. Jibril said, "They are all your people, O king of the apostles. As for besides the procession, there are 70,000 people who will enter heaven without being judged. Hopefully we will be included in that group." After Prophet Muhammad and Malakat Gabriel entered, suddenly they both met Prophet Musa bin Imran. Prophet Musa was a man with reddish-white skin. His height is like that of the Cyanua people. His hair is thick and thick. If he wears double clothes, the hair will really tear through. Then Prophet greeted, and the greeting was answered by Prophet Musa. Then Prophet Musa said, "Welcome, my righteous brother and righteous Prophet." Prophet Musa also prayed for Prophet with sublime prayers. The Prophet Musa said, "Everyone thinks that I am the most honorable person before Allah than Muhammad. But actually Muhammad is more noble in the sight of Allah than me." When Prophet passed Prophet Musa was crying. Then was asked by many people, "Why are you crying, O Prophet Musa?" Prophet Musa replied, "I cry because Muhammad was sent after me. But many of his people are going to heaven than my people. The children of Israel are equally of the opinion that I am the most noble among all the descendants of the Prophet Adam before Allah. But in fact it is Muhammad who was born after me who is the noblest. While I have lived in the afterlife, if only Muhammad was alone, I would be fine. But this is different. Muhammad is with his people. Of course I would be jealous of him." Then Prophet and Angel Gabriel ascended back to the seventh heaven. Jibril asked permission to open the heaven's door. The guard at the gate of heaven asked, "Who is that?" Jibril replied, "I am Jibril." Then asked again, "With whom are you?" Jibril replied, "I am with Prophet Muhammad." And he asked once again, "Have you been sent by Allah to come here?" Jibril replied, "Yes!" Exclamation mark. Done. The sky guard then said, "Please come in. Welcome. May Allah glorify you both and be glorified by your brothers and sisters in the faith and the preachers, representatives of Allah, who have agreed to convey Allah's religion. That's the noblest of brothers in faith, caliphs, and the best of people who come." Then the heavens opened. When the two of them had entered, suddenly they met Prophet Ibrahim, al-Khalil, who was sitting on a chair made of gold in front of the gates of heaven. He was leaning his back on prosperous house. At that time Prophet Ibrahim was being accompanied by a group of his people. Then the Prophet said salam, and the greeting was answered by Prophet Ibrahim. Then Prophet Ibrahim said, "Welcome, O my son and righteous Prophet." Prophet Muhammad asked, "What is this paradise plant?" Prophet Ibrahim said, "That is, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyil adim." According to one history, it is explained that, "Please convey my greetings to your people and tell them that heaven has good land, very fertile, fresh, and fresh water. As for actually the paradise plants are, Subhanallah walam dalila wa la ilaha illallahu wallahu akbar." The people who are on the left and right of Prophet Abraham, his people, all sit in one group. His face was white and clear like paper, another group had dirt and black spots on his skin. Then the people who had dirt on their skin stood together and then entered and bathed in a river, then they came out together because their dirt was clean. After that he entered and bathed again in another river, then came out and had all the black stains clean, then entered and bathed again 3 times in another river. After that, they both came out because all the dirt and black stains had been cleaned, so that his skin and face were as clear as his other friends. Then everyone sat together with his friends who had clear skin and white faces earlier. Prophet asked, "O Jibril, who is this group of people with clear white skin and faces? And who is the group whose skin and face are stained with black stains? And what river was used as a place to bathe earlier?" Gabriel replied, "The group of people whose skin and faces are white and clear are people whose faith is not mixed with immoral sins. Meanwhile, a group of people whose skin and faces have black dirt and stains are people who do good deeds but also commit the sins of immorality. Then they both repent, and Allah accepts their repentance. The rivers are: the first is the river of Allah's mercy, the second is the river of God's favor, and the third is the Sakahum river, which means the river where all of you are blessed with drinks that are very fresh and clear and clean. It is the river where you are the people were divided into 2 groups. Both wear dull clothes." Prophet then entered prosperous house. He entered together with groups who wore white clothes, while those who wore dull clothes were prohibited from following him. Then Prophet performed prayers at prosperous house together with the believers. There, the prosperous house turns out to be entered every day by 70,000 angels who never come back out again until the day of resurrection. And in fact, prosperous house is perpendicular to the Kaaba. For example, if a stone is dropped from prosperous house, it will fall right at the Kaaba. When it enters prosperous house, it will not come out again. Right at prosperous house, this is the end of the journey of the angels. In another narration, it is also explained, in prosperous house, Prophet was served 3 glasses of drink. Then Prophet Muhammad chose and took a glass filled with milk. The Prophet's actions were justified by the angel Gabriel with the expression, "This milk is a sign of the Islamic religion, fitra, which the Prophet and the people of the Prophet Muhammad will embrace." Then Prophet was taken up again to Sidratul Muntaha. That's where the end of all human deeds rises from the earth and then stops. At Sidratul Muntaha, destiny descends from a height and stops. Sidratul Muntaha is a large tree. From its shoots flow several rivers whose water is very clear and never changes, either in shape or taste. There are also rivers of milk whose taste will never change. There are also rivers of wine that are very fresh and rivers of honey that are very clean and clear. The roof of Sidratul Muntaha, if traced by someone who took a vehicle, would have taken 70 years, but it still hasn't arrived. As for Sidratul Muntaha's fruit, it was as big as the jars of Tana Hajar, a village close to Medina. While the leaves are as wide as elephant ears, one leaf alone is able to cover all the existing people. According to one history, it is explained, a leaf can cover all creatures. Each leaf has an angel. The leaves are of various colors, which cannot be understood what color they are, when there is something that covers it, because of God's command, then change into the Baiduri diamond, Yaqut, and Zabarjid. No one is able to characterize and describe the state of Sidratul Muntaha. In each leaf there is a golden locust. From the shoots of the Sidratul Muntaha tree, 4 rivers flow into heaven. There are 2 rivers, 2 visible and 2 invisible, flowing out into the earth, 2 visible and 2 invisible. The Prophet asked, "What river is that, Jibril?" Gabriel said, "The 2 invisible rivers flow into heaven. The 2 visible rivers are the Nile, Egypt, and Furat, Iraq. According to one history, it is explained. In Sidratul Muntaha, Prophet Muhammad saw the angel Gabriel having 600 wings. Each of these wings can cover the universe, and from each of Gabriel's wings there were scattered diamonds and yaqut. Where did it come from? No one knows except Allah. Then Prophet walked along the edge of the Kautsar lake until he entered heaven. Suddenly Prophet in heaven saw some things that could not be seen by the eyes, could not be heard by the ears, and had never crossed the heart. Prophet then saw a writing on the door of heaven. Giving charity is rewarded tenfold, and giving the debt of a person in need is 18 times as much. Then the Prophet asked, Gabriel, how can the person who gave the debt be more important than charity? Gabriel replied, because the beggar still has something in excess, while the debtor will not dare to owe unless he needs it. Prophet then took a walk in heaven. Suddenly he met a river of milk that would never change in taste and a river of hamr, which was very delicious according to those who drank it, and a very clear river of honey. Inside the heaven are scattered small houses made of lulu pearls and several pomegranates as big as buckets. According to one history, it is explained. In heaven there are pomegranates as big as camel skins that have cargo, and the birds of heaven are as big as Khorasan camels, which have 2 humps, backs. Companion Abu Bakr said, O Messenger of Allah, is the meat delicious? Prophet said, I've eaten the meat of that bird. Really? The meat is really delicious beyond the enjoyment of all the meat I've ever tasted. And I hope you can eat the meat of that bird. Then I saw the 2 sides of Kautsar lake, on which there were small houses made of perforated pearls. Prophet saw the pearls. The soil smells sweet, like musk oil. Then Prophet was shown stones and iron in hell. There is a place for God's wrath, curse, and torment. If stones and iron were thrown into hell, they would surely be destroyed and melted. In hell, suddenly, there is a group of people who all eat carrion. Prophet asked, Who are they, O Jibril? Jibril replied, They are people whose job it is to like to eat human flesh, meaning people who like to swear. There, Kanjang Nabi saw Angel Malik guarding hell. His face always looks sadistic and emits an aura of very burning anger. Prophet begins to say greetings to Angel Malik. Then the gates of hell are closed to honor Prophet Muhammad. Then Prophet was taken up to Sidratul Muntaha. Prophet was covered in fog that resembled a cloud of various colors, and Jibril stopped. Prophet was then taken up to Mustawa, a high place that is usually used as a resting place. In that place, he heard the sound of gurgling pools. There, he also saw a man who was covered by Nur Rc. Prophet asked, Who is he, O Jibril? Is it an angel? Jibril replied, No. Prophet asked again, Is it a prophet? He answered again, No. Prophet asked once again, Then who is he? And he was answered, He is a man who while living in the world his mouth was always wet because he made dhikr to Allah. And his heart is always tightly bound to the mosque. And never hostile, never hurts the hearts of his parents. Then Prophet faced Allah. He then prostrated. Allah also said to Prophet when he was prostrating, O Muhammad. Prophet replied, Yes, what is it, O my Lord? Allah said, What do you want from me? Prophet said, Indeed you have made Prophet Ibrahim a Holilullah and also a great kingdom. You have given instructions to Prophet Musa, and bestowed Prophet Dawud with a glorious kingdom, melted iron on Prophet Dawud, also gave Prophet Dawud power to control mountains. And you have given Prophet Solomon a great kingdom, able to control jinn, humans, demons and winds. You have also bestowed a kingdom that was never given after Prophet Solomon. You also taught Prophet Isa the Torah and the Bible, also gives the ability to heal the blind, mute, and striped, white skin, and can revive the dead with your permission. You have guarded and protected the Prophet Isa and his mother from the temptations of the accursed devil, so that no one dares to tempt them anymore. Then Allah said, Indeed, I have made you Muhammad as my beloved. The hadith narrator explained, God's words have actually been written in the Torah. That Prophet Muhammad is God's lover. And God has sent him to all mankind by giving heaven happiness to those who are willing to follow him, and frightening people with hell for those who disobeyed him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened and broadened Muhammad's chest and heart. Forgive all his sins, and Allah has raised his rank so that the name Allah will not be called except together with the name Muhammad. Allah has made his people the best of all existing people. And Allah has made his rank so that the name Allah will not be called except together with the name Allah will not be called except together with the name Muhammad. He has made his people so that the name Allah will not be called except with the name Allah. Allah has made the people of Muhammad. And Allah has made the people as the best of all existing, and thee and I have made you the first person to be reckoned with. And I have bestowed upon you Surah Al-Fatiha, 7 verses which are repeated many times to be read, which I did not give to any prophet before you. And I have given you some of the endings of Surah Al-Baqarah from its treasury under the throne, which I have never given to any prophet before you. And you have I awarded Al-Kawthar, Lake Kawthar. I have also 8 virtues. Islam, migration, truth, fasting and Rama I have made it obligatory upon you and your people to pray 50 times. Then do the prayer, and in one history it is explained. Rasulullah Muhammad was awarded 50 daily prayers. The last few verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. And Allah has forgiven the sins of the people of Muhammad, except for the sins of polytheists, associating partners with Allah, from the people of Muhammad with something that is detrimental to faith. Then there was a dazzling mist that came from Nur Kanjang, Prophet Muhammad. Then Gabriel held tightly to Prophet's hand, then quickly withdrew. After that, Prophet Muhammad came to Prophet Ibrahim. Prophet Ibrahim did not say anything. Then Prophet Muhammad came to Prophet Musa. Prophet Musa said, I am the best friend for you. Prophet Musa asked, What do you need, O Muhammad? What has Allah obligated you and your people to do? The Prophet replied, Allah has made it obligatory for me and my people to pray 50 times a day and night. The Prophet Musa said, Would you be pleased to return before Allah and ask for relief for yourself and your people? For sure, your people will not be able to do it. Indeed, I have tried it on people before you from among the children of Israel. And this order is lighter than the commandment that has been made obligatory upon you. And your people 2 cycles in the morning and 2 cycles in the evening, but my people are still difficult and unable to do it. They all left him together. While your people are more frail in body, heart, sight, and hearing. Then Prophet turned to the angel Gabriel, asking for consideration. Jibril nodded his head as a sign of welcome. Prophet Muhammad then quickly returned, until arriving at Sayaharo Sidratil Muntaha, Prophet Muhammad was shrouded in clouds. Prophet prostrated himself and said, My Lord, I hope you are willing to give relief to my people. Allah said, I subtract 5 for your people. Furthermore, Prophet Muhammad went back and forth incessantly between Prophet Musa and Allah. Allah said to Prophet Muhammad, O Muhammad, Prophet replied, I welcome your call, O Allah. Allah said, Prayer do it in a day and a night, the reward for each prayer is tenfold. So, 5 times the prayer is the same as the reward of 50 times the prayer. Therefore, what I have said, can never be replaced or erased, and that has become my decision. And anyone who deliberately intends to do good but cannot do it, because there is something ajor sayara, then one good is written down. But if he can do it, then the Prophet Musa said, Would you please, O Muhammad, to return again to Allah, your Lord, to ask for relief? In fact, your people are still not able to do it. Prophet replied, I have gone back and forth before Allah until I feel ashamed. Now I am pleased and willing to accept it." Not long after, a call was heard. "Indeed, I have obligated an obligation and have given a waiver to my servant." Then Prophet Muhammad came down. And he did not precede the angels, unless they all said to each other, "It's acceptable to you, O Messenger of Allah, to get used to the Kandak, bringing dirty blood from the head, in one history, and they all had the same sweet smile for me. Except for an angel. I said hello to him. He also answered my greeting and greeted me with great joy. He also prayed for me, but he didn't show me a happy face," Jibril explained. An angel is the angel Malik who guards hell. He had never shown such a happy face since his creation. For example, Angel Malik wants to show a happy face to other people. Of course you are only one, O Apostle. When Prophet descended into the sky of the world, he looked down. Suddenly he saw thick dust and heard a roar. Then Prophet asked, "What is that, O Jibril?" Jibril replied, "That is an act of Satan, who tries to hinder humans so that these humans are not able to think about the majesty of Allah both in the heavens and on earth." For example, Satan does not disturb, and without hindering it, it is certain that all human beings will be able to see the wonders of Allah. Prophet then rode the Buraq. He then saw the camels of the Quraysh scattered here and there. And in the group of camels, there was one camel carrying 2 loads. One charge is black, and one charge is white. When Prophet approached the camels, the animals all scrambled to run, spun, and then fell down until one of them broke his leg. Prophet then preceded the procession of people riding other camels. Some of them lost their camels. All the camels were collected, and the people from Bani Fulan searched for the missing camel. Then Prophet greeted the camel. And some of the people from the group earlier said, "This is the voice of Muhammad." After all that, Prophet arrived at the place of his companions before dawn in Makkah. When it was dawn, he was seen complaining sadly and understanding that people would actually deny him. Prophet then sat back and grieved. Not long after that, the enemy of Allah, Abu Jahl, appeared. Abu Jahl also came to Prophet and sat down with him. Abu Jahl asked Prophet like someone who mocked, "Is there any news that is miraculous about Muhammad?" Prophet replied, "Yes, there is." Abu Jahl asked again, "What news is that?" Prophet answered, "Last night I was in Isra Khan." Abu Jahl asked again, "Where is your Isra?" Prophet replied, "To Baytul Maqdis." Abu Jahl asked, "Is it this early that you are present in the midst of all of us?" Prophet replied, "Yes, ask." "O Muhammad, what do you think if I invite your people? Are you willing to tell your people what you have told me?" Prophet said, "Yes, I want." Then Abu Jahl invited and announced, "O descendants of Bani Ka'ab bin Lu'ay, come here all of you." Then all of them came to attend the assembly. Many people came and sat in front of Prophet's chair and Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl also said, "O Muhammad, tell you to your people about what you have told me." Then the Messenger of Allah told me, "In fact, last night I was given Isra Khan." The crowd asked, "Where to?" His Majesty the Apostle replied, "To Baytul Maqdis." The people asked again, "Is it so early that you have come in the midst of all of us?" His Majesty the Apostle replied, "Yes, right." Hearing the story of the Prophet, the people became noisy. Some clapped. Some put their hands on their heads in awe. The atmosphere among the people became rowdy. People consider it strange and a big event. Then Mudim bin Adi said, "O Muhammad, all your previous stories were just mediocre and light, except for your story today. I testify that you are a liar and a liar. I traveling to Baytul Maqdis by riding a camel takes a span of 1 month. Is it possible for you to arrive at Baytul Maqdis in just 1 night? By Lata and Uzza, I can't believe it." Shohabat Abu Bakr said, "O Mudim, it's really insulting what you say to your own brother's son. You have embarrassed and belied your own nephew. Meanwhile, I testify that Prophet Muhammad is a righteous person, I believe, people asked each other. O Muhammad, try to characterize or explain to us all about Baytul Maqdis. What is the building like? What does it look like? And how far is it from the mountain? The building, the shape, and the distance from the mountain. He characterized and described all the conditions of Baytul Maqdis clearly to his people. There was only one thing he didn't explain, namely the number of doors. Because of that, Kanjeng Nabi's heart became sad. He had never felt grief like that at that time. Suddenly, he was brought a picture of the Baytul Maqdis Mosque, which is located near the house of Aqil bin Abi Tholib. The Quraysh then asked each other, how many doors are in Baytul Maqdis? Even though Prophet had never counted them. Then he saw and observed the picture of the mosque and clearly counted the number of doors. Then Prophet answered and told them all. Spontaneously Abu Bakr said, "You are right, O Messenger of Allah." "You are right," the Quraysh said to Abu Bakr. Regarding the characteristics of the mosque, by Allah Muhammad is true. But do you also confirm that Muhammad traveled overnight to Baytul Maqdis? And have you arrived back at this place before dawn? Abu Bakr replied, "Yes, exactly that. Actually, I really justify it. I also believe in the story of Prophet Muhammad, who ascended to the sky, mi'raj, in the morning or the afternoon. That's why Abu Bakr got the title Ash-Shadiq, a person who is quick to believe." Then the Quraysh asked Prophet, "O Muhammad, tell me about our group of camels, which are just now traveling to Baytul Maqdis." Prophet said, "I met a group of Bani Fulan camels in Ruqqa who had lost their camels and they were all looking for each other. Then I stopped for a while, but I didn't meet anyone. Suddenly in that place, I found a bowl of water. The water was then I drank. Then I also met the Bani Fulan camels here and there. And in that place, there were red camels loaded with black and white sacks. When I passed by, the camels were both surprised and running away from each other. Then I found a bowl of water. Then I drank. Then I also, and I drank. Then I also, and I drank. Then I, and there. Unexpectedly, Wednesday was almost over. The camels had not yet arrived. Prophet then prayed and asked Allah to add one more hour to that day and stop the sun until the procession of camels arrived. Then the Quraysh together picked up the camels and asked each other, "Did you lose the camels?" The group replied, "Yes, right." The Parawi hadith narrates. The Quraysh asked each other about the camels. "Did your red camel have a broken leg?" They answered, "Yes, that's right." The Quraysh asked again, "Does any of you have a bowl of water?" Someone answered, "I swear by Allah, I put a bowl of water. No one admits to drinking the water. And the water doesn't spill on the ground either, but the water runs out on its own." In the end, the Quraysh both accused Kanjeng Prophet and said, "Yes, what Al-Walid said." Because of this incident, Allah also sent down the verse, "And I, Allah, did not create a ru'ya, the vision and knowledge that I showed during the Isra Miraj, except that it was only a slander, a test for humans." The story of the Isra Miraj journey of the Prophet Muhammad ends. Praise be to Allah for all his help. May Allah always bestow his grace and greetings on Prophetullah Muhammad, his family, and to his companions with abundant grace and greetings. And all praise belongs to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Amen.